Good day, everyone, and welcome to Home at the Hollow. Today, I'm sharing one of my most favorite recipes with you. We are going to be making lemon ginger cookies with a wee bit of a twist. Now, guys know that I can't just have it just an ordinary cookie. It's got to go beyond what anyone is going to anticipate. So once you serve them and they think, oh, it's just a little lemon cookie, it's going to knock their socks off. If this has any interest of you, or if you just want to come and hang out, then keep on watching. I am starting with my mixer with 8 tablespoons or a half a cup or a whole stick of unsalted butter. And I'm going to just place this right in here. I actually allowed this to sit on the counter overnight along with the egg. Let's see if we can get this going. That's a whole stick of butter. To that, I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of granulated sugar. And get this mixed up to where the granulated sugar is mixed very, very well with the butter. And if you don't have unsalted butter, just leave the salt out of the flour mixture. I'll be there in just a minute. But that looks pretty good. 1 room temperature egg. Give it a little bit of a good spin. Let's see how this is going to look for us. Just scrape the sides down a little bit, and that wonderful little spot in the bottom that seems to always be there. And we'll go again. And that looks pretty good. And what I have here is 1 1/3 cup of all-purpose flour, a 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger, and a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And again, if you don't have unsalted butter, just leave the salt out of. Just give this a whisk and make sure this is very, very happy. We've got this all whisked up. And to the flour, add, yes, crystallized ginger. This is what it will look like, and this is 1/4 cup. And I diced this as finely as I could today, because you don't want anyone to get like one big chunk of crystallized ginger in their cookie, in their lemon ginger cookie. And then by mixing it in the flour, it'll help, suspend it a little bit more in your dough. And just add a little bit of it. And see how it goes. And in all my years of using this mixer, I have never started my mixer and have flour go everywhere. So, but that's one of those things you kind of want to be mindful of, unless you really want to make a mess. In which case, hey, who am I to say? But I always start mine on low and build from there. what I'm going to do is I have, get some of this out of the way. I have about 2, and we're almost there. I have about 2 teaspoons or so of granulated sugar. But what I want to do is, excuse me, I've got my grater out and a lemon. Of course, they're lemon ginger cookies. So I'm going to grate off this particular lemon. I'm going to do a little bit of an experiment. Typically, when I make these cookies, I form them up, and then about halfway through their bake time, which is very, very quick, by the way, halfway through their bake time, I will sprinkle this lemon sugar mixture over the top of them, rotate my baking sheet, and continue baking. This time I'm going to bake some off with the sugar already on top of them, and one group without the sugar on them, and do it like I traditionally do it. And let's just kind of see what goes from there. But yeah, it's an entire lemon you want. So you want about a tablespoon. Get this off of here. And that looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. I'm going to just add that to my dough. I'm going to leave this here because I will be definitely needing this. I just love lemon. It makes your home smell just incredible. What I'm going to do, this dough seems really super, super stiff. And that's probably okay, but what I'm going to do, if I can get a knife here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this lemon and get a little bit of lemon juice, and I'm going to put a little bit of lemon juice in there. I think that would be, not bad. Just a little bit. We don't want to, kind of disturb the balance of the egg and the butter and all of that. Just give it a little extra. And that's looking really, really good to me. And we will just see what this dough is going to look like. And again, it's one of those things you want to really, really scrape your bowl and make sure you have all of your lemon zest and everything mixed in there. This is one of those recipes that has never failed me. So let's just see. It doesn't make a lot of dough. I've doubled this before, but you do you. But I just made a single cookie dough. And I will get these portioned out and be right back. So I have the entire dough portioned up, and this is the very, very last one. This is just a very, very small scoop, and it just came shy of 20. That one's pretty sad looking. But this is how much the dough made. And I have my lemon sugar here, and I'm going to just dust a few of these beforehand and just, kind of see how they bake off compared to adding the lemon sugar halfway through the bake time. I'm going to put these in the fridge and let them set for a little while. Certainly this recipe does not require you to do so, but I'm going to cover them with some wax paper, allow them to set, and get the kitchen cleaned up a little bit, and bake these off at 350. I would space them about 2 inches apart if you have the luxury of doing so, and bake for about 7 minutes. And at that point, go back in your oven and you sprinkle with your lemon sugar mixture, rotate your baking sheet, and continue to bake for about another 7 minutes at the most. You really, at this point, when you rotate them at 7 minutes bake time, you want to give them a good look. Maybe another 7 minutes, maybe 5. And again, I'm working with a new oven. You know your oven better than I ever would, but I'm going to have to watch these pretty close. It seems like my oven is not necessarily running not quite as hot as I'm accustomed to. It's just different. It's just absolutely different. But I'm going to let these set, clean up, and I will be back. And I should have mentioned, at this point where you have your cookies shaped up, formed up, if you don't have a scooper like this, a small scooper like this, a couple of teaspoons, a tablespoon, whatever works for you. But at this point, you can cover these, put them in the fridge until they're very, very firm, then slide them in the freezer, give them a good flash freeze, probably a half an hour to an hour, and put them in a really good freezer-proof container or bag, and you will have dough already made up for unexpected guests, or if you were baking something in the oven anyway for dinner, slide 1 or 2 or 4 or 6 in the oven after you have dinner. And what a wonderful, wonderful pre-planning thing is to have, a kind of halfway made, little dessert. It's always a very nice surprise for someone you may be having over for dinner, or family, or friends, or what have you, or maybe just a treat for yourself because you've had a long, hard day. But join me in just a minute. And we are back. I have placed my cookies in the refrigerator for an hour to set and become as firm as they can. And one of the reasons that I do this, probably with the majority of my cookies, is to keep spreading at a minimum, because you don't want to come to a bunch of spread together cookies now, right? I don't think so. But I've got 3 of these with the lemon granulated sugar mixture just very lightly sprinkled on top. 3 of them do not. And I'm going to put them in a 350-degree preheated oven for 7 minutes. And at 7 minutes, we will come back and sprinkle the lemon granulated sugar on the ones that don't, and bake them off again. Maybe 5 minutes, maybe 7 minutes with this particular oven. I don't know, but we will see you then. And so we are back, and my oven is making a lot of noise. We are at the end of 7 minutes, and we're going to take these out and see how these are looking. Oh my goodness, yes. This is what they look like at the end of 7 minutes. These are the ones with the sugar, and these are the ones without. And I'm going to just give them a little bit of a sprinkle and pop them back in. I'm going to do another 5 minutes. I'm not really quite sure about this oven. I'm going to check them at 5, and if I need to go another 7, which is usually what I do, but I'm going to go 5, then 7, and then come back, and let's see how these turn out. And I am back with some baked cookies, and you should smell the hollow. Oh my goodness, lemon. I absolutely love lemon, but lemon baking just permeates your home. So if you've cooked fish or anything like that, that's, have these in your freezer and bake a few of these off, and Anyway, it's just a wonderful, wonderful thing. But what I did, as you saw, I pulled it out at 7 minutes, sprinkled a little bit of the sugar on the ones that had not received any of it. And do you know what? All these years, I've been pulling them. You know, I have to rotate them anyway. But my big fear was that the sugar and the lemon was gonna, you know, somehow mysteriously caramelize on the top, which that's not necessarily a bad thing. But and there was absolutely no. I don't know if you guys can see it without them falling. There's no difference. So I think probably from now on, when I get ready to bake these, I'm just, or either make the dough up again, I'm going to just sprinkle sugar on them if you want. You don't have to sprinkle the lemon sugar on there. But I can tell you what I did after I took them out. I let them go for another 5 minutes because I wasn't really sure about my oven. I looked at 5 minutes, they were still quite pale, so another 2 minutes made the world of difference, the world of difference. But what you want is you want just a very slight browning around the edges, just around the edges. The top does not need to be browned. But what I did is after the additional 7 minutes, I took them out and I allowed them to cool basically on the hot cookie sheet. Now, normally you don't do this with cookies. I don't know what compelled me to do so this morning. I have no idea. But I went ahead and just allowed them to cool off slightly until I could handle them. And once I could handle them, I've put them on a rack to cool. But this is them cooled. And I think one of the reasons why I really enjoy this cookie, other than the fact that they're lemon, is that they have the taste of ginger throughout the entire cookie, but you have a little bit of crisp, a little bit of crunch, and then you hit the very, very chewy part of the crystallized ginger, and it's just like a symphony in your mouth. And it's just a really excellent cookie. So I'm going to, I'm hoping that you guys can see this. I'm hoping that you can. And they just break just very, very, and this is the bottom. Not too dark. You don't want these to become too dark. But I can tell you, oh y'all, oh, you're gonna love it. I hope you try it. These are really, actually really, really quite good. Delicious. Absolutely delicious. I want to stress the importance of when you do make the dough up, as far as the crystallized ginger, slice it and chop it as thin and as fine as you can, so you do get a good chew all throughout the cookie. This is a huge, huge thumbs up. I've been making this for a very long time, 20, 25 years, something like that, and I haven't changed a thing until now. But now I know I can just add the sugar, you know, and again, per cookie, it's not a lot of sugar. It's just a sprinkle, just a wee bit of a dusting, and your family, your friends, you are going to love this. I hope that you guys join me again. I want y'all all to come back home at the Hollow. Bye, guys.